Because you may have to operate the equipment.
Let's start.
Oh, geez, I didn't put my makeup on.
Hi everyone, it's Demi, if you remember me. That's Dad Musio.
Good to see you.
I wish I had a hat to do that with. Such an established thing to do.
Well, I thought the crowd was giving us a standing ovation since we're back.
Oh, I can edit in a round of applause. He said, let's do a podcast. He has no idea what we're talking about. I kind of don't either.
I said okie dokie after I got done with my eye appointment down in Hillcrest.
Can you see now?
My optometrist. No, they dilated me. I can't see anything.
You can't see the frame?
I can see the frame.
Oh.
I'm getting new contact lenses.
You used to take me to tennis camp.
Yes, I remember that.
And they did that. I had an eye exam.
Your coach was Josh Vogel.
Yes.
Yes.
They prescribed me reading glasses, which I never wore. That's probably a huge
What does it
issue.
have to do with tennis camp?
Okay, so I had tennis camp that day. I begged you to take me back to tennis camp, even though I just had like my eyes dilated.
Oh, I remember this, yeah.
I couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
And you still let me go to tennis camp, and you were like, this is a really big mistake, but if you really want to go, I was like begging you. And you took me back to tennis camp.
Yeah, I remember.
And immediately, like within a couple minutes, because I just got there like a couple minutes behind, immediately the coach starts telling me to run suicides.
Yeah.
Where you run, from line to line.
Yeah.
I ate it.
For the record, I played Demi's coach in tennis twice. He's 30 years younger than me, and I beat him twice.
So humble.
I am.
So humble. Wow.
Speaking of tennis, did you know one of our recent guests, Brandon Nakashima, was on the front page of the sports section of the LA Times and the San Diego Union today?
Really?
Yeah, because he beat the #1 American player in USA, John Isner, in the
Wow.
first round of the US Open yesterday.
Whoa.
Isner was ranked number 19. Brandon's moved up to, I think, number 84 in the world.
So
So that was big news because it's sort of like being described as, is there a changing in the guard in American men's tennis? So congratulations, Brandon. That's a big accomplishment.
So for those of you who can't tell, my dad loves tennis.
Love tennis.
And you kind of discovered him, didn't you? In a way?
In a sense, when Kei Nishikori couldn't play in the Hawaii Tennis Open over Christmas of 2019, I said, I've got this great 18-year-old player named Brandon Nakashima that nobody's heard of him. We're going to hear of him because he's a great player. So he came over and filled in for Kei, won 2 matches, actually beat Taylor Fritz, who's around 30 in the world, and then lost to Sam Querrey in the finals in Hawaii. And so that really got him on the map, maybe sooner than he otherwise would have been on the map. So it's really been fun to watch his career develop in such a great way over the past not quite 2 years.
Oh my God, what if he ever gets to like number 3 or 2 or 1 in the world?
I believe he'll be top 10. He's that talented.
You'll need to get your own little award
Something.
that says, I discovered you. Just kidding.
I found you
Yeah.
playing in junior tournaments in San Diego.
So like, what was it about him that made you think like, oh, this dude's gonna be like
Well, the
something
talent is
big?
obvious, but the composure. So when you're watching 15 and 16 and 17-year-olds play, very few of them are composed, as you might guess. In fact, there's a lot of temper
Well,
tantrums.
The hormones, what are you gonna tell the hormones? That would make sense, yeah.
So it's like, wow, he's dialed in mentally.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
and he is.
Like poker face almost.
So anyway, yeah, he plays in the second round on Wednesday. I don't know when you're airing this. Second round on Wednesday, September 1.
Nice.
So good luck there.
Right on.
It's exciting stuff
Yeah.
when you see somebody develop it like that, and you were there before anybody even knew who this person.
That is
was.
cool. You see like before everyone else saw it kinda.
Well, I mean, other people saw it, but not too many,
Yeah.
because he's got great parents, so they weren't overdoing it with the junior tournaments. Like a lot of, we call them soccer mom kind of parents.
Oh, soccer mom.
Where they make the kids do way too much stuff. And so he wasn't overdoing it.
Nice.
So he wasn't necessarily out there the way some of the younger players are,
Mm-hmm.
which is smart.
Right on.
He went to University of Virginia at age of 17.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's
impressive.
insane.
So anyway, if you're following US Open tennis, follow Brandon Nakashima.
Very cool.
Prior guest, great player, great kid. Just turned 20, I guess.
You just turned 20?
If my math
Oh
is
my
right.
God. Wow.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, that's enough about tennis.
people have been asking, where'd your podcast go? You guys, what's been going on?
Did it go
so
somewhere?
we're here to set the record straight.
Oh, okay. So tell me what's going on.
Oh, my dad, you guys. He's so patient and nice and just puts up with my, all my plans. And why do you have a mask on for this part?
In case I blush.
Aww.
Anyway.
So let's see. So we had our podcast. We still have our podcast.
Mhm.
I think we just took a little bit of a hiatus.
We lost our location.
We lost our location a couple months ago. They're doing great though. I still follow them on social media.
Moved down to Austin, Texas, right? The Bildsters?
Yeah, they moved to Austin, Texas.
Geez, like half of the rest of the USA.
Everyone is moving to Austin. Where else? Florida, for some reason. No offense, Florida, but
Yeah.
that's not Florida's definitely not on my list of places to visit.
I saw a
Let's
great
just say
headline
that.
when Trump moved down there. It said, Trump joins other septuagenarians in Florida.
Oh God, that's horrible. Well, anyway.
So anyway, we lost our location.
So that's our location. We were, doing something here in San Diego. And then, on my 25th birthday, as I think many young people do, they start to question their life. I like to call it a quarter life crisis. He says not to call it a crisis because that has a negative connotation.
Yeah, I say call it an opportunity.
Quarter life opportunity. That actually sounds nice. So I turned 25, last month, and I started to, ask myself all those questions, as one does, like, who am I? What is my purpose in this world? Where am I going with my life? And so...
Your name is Demi Musio. You're here to have fun, and where you're going with your life is to Las Vegas. So, next question.
See, he just makes it all so simple, right? It's horrible. So I took a trip to Vegas to see a friend. My intention for that trip was literally to just go somewhere on my own for the very first time. It's the first time I drove to a different state by myself. Honestly, the first
It is
time
a different state.
It is. It doesn't feel like it because it's not very far away. But once you actually hit Nevada, you're like, whoa, like this is very much a different world.
You should try driving to Arizona. They give you a gun at the border. It's great.
Ooh, I'll be there tomorrow. Just kidding.
Keep going.
I think that's actually the first time I drove anywhere by myself, like for that amount of time. I've driven up north, like
4.5 hours?
Yeah.
Vegas? Okay.
like by myself. Like I've driven up north before, like with friends and whatnot.
Mhm.
But like, so the intention for that trip was to literally just switch up my routine, and what ended up happening is I fell in love with Vegas, as one does. It's so funny how people just like openly share their opinions, and I get it. I definitely am someone who shares my opinions, but it's just so funny, like little things as far as like what hotel I should stay at. I had so many people telling me like, don't stay on the Strip, you're gonna hate the Strip, don't stay on the Strip. And I ended up booking a hotel somewhere, and then I got my money back and I got a refund because I was like, you know what, I want to stay on the Strip, and if people don't like that, then like I don't care, I want to stay on the Strip. So the whole point of this trip was to literally just, you know, make decisions on my own, not be swayed by other people's opinions. So I went on this trip, and I just ended up really falling in love with the area. And you know, I kept, you know,
I thought you were going suburbs like Henderson.
yeah, so I'll be living in more like suburban area, but it's so funny because I kept, you know, telling people I was gonna come home, and then I ended up staying like a day later, and then the next day, and then the next day, and my poor cat
is very upset.
is like,
I want you to know.
he has his like little sack, like thinking he's gonna be homeless. Like, where is he gonna go? And I'm sure my parents, thank God, they're very nice, and
We took care of Pierre.
They took care of Pierre.
Mm-hmm.
He's a different kind of cat. He's not a cat that likes to be left alone all day. Like, he likes to be part of the pack.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I kept going back, and I realized that, you know, I'm definitely looking for a life change, and I think I've been very comfortable in San Diego, you know, just inhaling all this government money. I'm just kidding. But, you know, it's been comfortable in San Diego, and that can be a tricky place because when you're comfortable, you don't want to grow and expand. And it's like, oh, like, you know, I'm happy just, you know, watching TV, sitting at home, going out for coffee all day. And, you know, I kind of got to a place where I was like, I think this is, you know, the perfect time for me because I don't have, you know, a day job in San Diego. I don't have kids. I don't have a mortgage. I think this gives me a lot of freedom to try something new. So I am moving to Vegas for, I don't really know how long. My lease is for 3 months, and I'm going to see how I like it.
I like Vegas.
Yeah, I think...
Although I just can't spend too much time there because I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't gamble.
Well, that's only the Strip. See,
Right.
I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I don't gamble. So that everyone was looking at me like, you're going to Vegas? Like, you don't belong there. It's funny, like, no one really can understand, like, how you feel unless they're in your shoes. But, like, I just felt very happy there. And there's so much to do. There's a lot to do, especially if you're like me and you don't like to drink. There's, I mean, you can go bowling. There's escape
Red
rooms.
Rock has the best bowling alley in the country because they actually do PBA events, national bowling events, that casino, because their bowling alley is like the best I've ever seen.
We went there when I was little.
Yeah, I made the mistake of bowling 3 days in a row before then running the half marathon.
Did you really?
Yeah, I felt like my right leg was an inch shorter than my left leg.
Oh no.
Never go bowling 3 days in a row before running a half marathon.
Hey,
Hey,
because
for the record, I still ran 1 hour and 43 minutes, which is a sub 8 minute per mile pace with 13.1 miles after bowling all day long 3 days in a row.
Wow, I don't think I've run an 8-minute mile like ever in my
But I
entire
don't
life.
recommend it. Bowling 3 days before.
I'm
a
sure
half
everyone's
marathon.
thinking about this.
It'd be like
right
eating
now.
pancakes before running a half marathon. It's on the list of things you shouldn't do.
I would do that to self-sabotage to get out
Okay.
of the race. I'd be like, oh no, I can't run anymore. What
But
did
the
I
bowling
do?
alley is just so beautiful.
That's
I couldn't
funny.
help myself.
That is a really cool hotel. I
Oh, Red
remember
Rock?
that.
Yeah, Red Rock's nice.
That was a cool place.
Outside
And
of town.
that one ice cream place, Serendipity, they have like
Yeah.
$1,000 sundae because the spoon is made of gold.
Right.
That was a fun trip. But yeah,
I like the shows in Las Vegas.
So I've never been to a show. When we went, I was a little kid.
You were too young to go to a
so,
show.
yeah, I hadn't been to Nevada like in probably over a decade.
You had been before?
No, only when we went when I was a little
Yeah,
kid.
okay.
Yeah,
it's the
and
only
I
time we
hadn't been
took
at
you.
all. But I had a friend move up there, and she kept encouraging me to come visit her, and I was like, yeah, okay, fine, I'll visit, whatever. And I learned a lot about myself. It's like, it's very funny, like, when you kind of do something and you're by yourself, and if you're just left with yourself, you obviously learn about yourself, and
Allow myself to introduce myself.
I wish I
We're
could
going
say
to do
I'm
that show one day
surprised.
where it's all movie lines. I'm warning you.
The
Was
day-
Austin Powers for those of you. Allow myself to introduce
See, I was
myself.
gonna be
I am
like-
Richie Cunningham.
I'm pretty sure that's Austin Powers.
That's Austin Powers, yeah.
Wait, speaking of, what jacket does this remind you of? If you were to think of a TV show, what jacket would this remind you of?
It'd be like some sort of like in the mountains thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was thinking That 70s Show.
Okay.
No?
Yeah.
That's what I was
I
going
was going to
for.
say like, Old Yeller.
Oh, a classic.
Yeah.
Old Yeller. We'll do that show one day.
Okay.
I'm dreading it because I know I'm going to fail. But
That's okay. I can handle the whole thing myself.
I'll
I'll just talk to myself in movie
I was
lines.
gonna say, you'll just sit there. No, you'll do the whole thing and I'll just sit there. No, I'll try at least. There's success in trying, I think.
True.
But yeah, it's very interesting.
So did you ever get that lease straightened out?
No, so
What's going on with these people?
my life is just a question mark right now.
It's like the easiest thing, and these people, or whatever. I'm not going to mention any company
He wants to
names.
go off right now. I think, there's a lot of unknown right now, and I've come to the realization that sometimes it's actually fun to not know, because then you're just kind of forced to just like be present. Like, I was freaking out. I was driving home from Monterey last week. I went to see a friend, and then I looked at some houses for them in case they ever wanted to move up there. And I was driving home, and I got a phone call that the apartment that we sent all the information for, like, it was ready to go. I guess the people who live there now like accidentally submitted a 30-day notice instead of a 60-day notice. So I couldn't move in till like a month later than what I thought I could, and then I have to move out of my apartment because they literally within 5 minutes of telling my leasing office, they found someone to move in. They have a waiting list of like 2 pages of people.
You know, in Las Vegas, there's ways of fixing that problem.
What?
Well, I mean, the town was built by the mob.
Oh, it's the mafia?
Yeah, so
I was waiting for, I was
if you
like,
don't want them there for another 30 days, there's a way to...
I wanted you to
take
say
care
it
of this.
first because I didn't know if this was like radio appropriate. I was like, I think he's talking about the
I'm just
mafia.
saying, there's ways to fix this.
Well, I always have the mafia to help me out, so
There you
we'll
go.
see if it gets to that point. Hopefully not, but yeah, I was like very discouraged because I felt like I was making progress. But they found me a place to still live there, and it's just the process of them, you know, calling me back. I actually don't know like the status of that. Like
They
I don't
seem
know.
to be administratively challenged, but
Yeah,
we won't mention any corporate names. You know the history of Las Vegas? Why
no.
it exists?
absolutely nothing.
What?
I'm curious because it's the weirdest place I've ever seen in my life. It's weird, but
Okay, up until the 1950s, the gambling industry was centered in Havana, Cuba,
huh.
which is a short plane flight from Miami.
Wait, I thought gambling was invented by the Native Americans. Is that
No,
wrong?
That's wrong.
It is?
You're talking about the Indian casinos?
Yeah.
No, all of that followed.
Okay.
So up until the 1950s, everybody who liked gambling would jet over to Havana, Cuba. And then, of course, what happened in Havana, Cuba around, I don't know, 1958 is Fidel Castro and Che Guevara took over
Mm-hmm.
and booted out all the casinos. So the casinos were looking for another place to go. And that became Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas
Oh.
decided it'd be great to attract all that tourist money
And this is when?
in the 50s, late 50s.
Oh.
And so that was all controlled, though, of course, by the mafia
Whoa.
and the Teamsters Union, the story of Jimmy Hoffa, etc.
Oh my goodness.
If you ever see the movie The Irishman, it's a great history.
Isn't that a recent movie?
Yeah,
The
it's
Irishman?
really long. You have to like watch it in 2 settings because it's 4 hours long. The Irishman. It does a pretty good job of that history. Then you see some of that in The Godfather, where the Corleone family is over in Havana before it all falls apart with the gambling industry. So Nevada had the foresight to make Las Vegas the center or the replacement of the gambling industry circa late 1950s.
Whoa.
Although most of that mob influence is now gone because of government regulation, obviously. But not all.
Or is it?
Not all.
Funny, I had
So
no
that's
idea.
how Las Vegas came to be.
So Vegas is like
Has quite a
Less-
fascinating history.
less than 100 years old.
It's about my age, 60.
Wow, let's say yeah.
Well,
Well,
I mean, the town existed, but it wasn't
wasn't what it is.
a massive center of gaming.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not.
There's your
for-
history lesson for the day.
I had no idea. Wow, very interesting.
Yeah, like the old Flamingo Hotel.
Ah. I mean, yeah, I've never gambled. I don't really plan on it
I don't either.
because
The house always wins.
what does that mean?
It means the institution, the casino.
Oh.
They don't care who wins and loses. They're just taking a percentage of the action that's being bet.
How does it work? Like let's say someone gambles and they make like $2,000 that night. Where is that money coming from? How is it like? It's almost like
it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
That's just crazy to me. How you?
Well, it's insane, the numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I try not to judge, but I just see it as like another form of addiction, and you know, we all have our addictions. We're trying to, you know,
That
get
was like, I'll be
hold
there in
of.
10 minutes. I had to go to Phil's. I'm like,
Okay.
you didn't need to text me that. I just assumed as much.
Here's what's happening though. I realized that I've had a relationship with caffeine that needs some work. And so I used to drink 3 drinks a day of some kind of caffeine.
No, it's not addictive.
That's okay. I was in denial for a really long time. However, when I went to Vegas, I saw, you know, especially because it's so hot there, and I was so dehydrated, and I was like, oh, like I just can't keep doing this to myself, and it was affecting my skin. And so I switched to just drinking 1 drink a day. I did that for about 6 days, and then on the 7th day I went to Starbucks too many times. But this is decaf, so I'm doing either decaf or I'm just trying to keep it to 1 or 2.
So in 2 days she'll be impossible to be around.
Progress is being made. I didn't realize how much it would affect me though. Like drinking decaf like hit me hard. Like I did not realize how tired I'd be. Like I feel like I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I'm like metamorphosizing. Like I'm like, it's just a lot is going on. So I did not realize that it would affect me.
I didn't know it was so Franz Kafka.
Franz Kafka,
The Metamorphosis.
That's right. I was like, that's that weird author,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah, I was supposed to read that in high school, but then I decided not to.
You didn't miss much.
Yeah. Creepy. But anyways, you know, small changes here and there. But where was I going with this?
I don't know.
I don't
Las
know.
Vegas, here you come.
Yeah, so it's so funny because I've been the type of person who I usually ask people what their opinion on something is before I decide to do something. And I think like as a young person, I've realized it's important to, even if you're making a mistake, just doing something on your own so then you
There's
can
no such thing as
learn.
mistakes.
Well, you know what I mean. It's like, you're right, there's no such thing as a mistake.
What did I say? What did I say when you said you were thinking about going to Vegas?
You said, well, to the email, because you emailed me and said, I'll get you a parachute.
Yeah.
Best email I've gotten all year. I said, could you relocate me to Vegas possibly? And he said, yes, I'll get you a parachute.
Yeah, we'll just drop you off.
I mean, you encouraged it.
I like Las Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, I'm not like going to the Strip every day. Like, it's not that kind of thing. Like, for those of you who know me, like, you know, that's not my vibe. Like, it's not my thing.
I don't think it really counts as a move if it's less than 5 hours away.
You're saying I'm not moving?
No, you're moving, but I mean, it's like, oh, you can jump in the car and
Well,
at
it's
breakfast time and be there at lunchtime, whatever.
It's
still close.
funny because it's closer to, it's a shorter drive than if I were to go to like, you know, Northern California.
It's the same distance as San Diego to, for example, San Luis Obispo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just depending on the direction you're going. But yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like you're in a different world there. It definitely is a very different world than California.
I saw
But
the funniest Michael Jackson impersonator in history in Las Vegas.
that would freak me out to
Oh,
see a
so
Michael
funny.
Jackson impersonator. I definitely need to see a show while I'm
You
there.
definitely do.
A couple. What are you gonna do if I become a Raiders fan? Is that gonna crush you?
Well, growing up, I was a Raiders fan, so I'm okay with it.
You were?
I grew up in the Bay Area.
Oh, because they moved.
They were the Oakland Raiders.
See, I
Then
don't
they
know
became
any
the
of
Los
this.
Angeles Raiders. Then they moved back to Oakland to be the Oakland Raiders again. But when I was a kid, a little tiny kid in the 1960s, we rooted for the Oakland Raiders because the San Francisco 49ers were such losers.
Losers.
So we rooted for the Raiders because they were a great football team.
I didn't know this.
Al Davis, their owner and founder, coached at San Diego State many, many years ago. He's passed away.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So
Well,
so I was a Chargers fan moving to San Diego, but no
hmm.
San Diego football either. I'm fine with the Raiders. That's
Well-
what I rooted for as a kid.
That's funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'll have to see a game.
You need to go to an ice hockey game there.
I want to go to...
That's a blast.
Wait, what are they? Don't tell me.
I can't remember their name.
Are
Sharks?
they the Knights?
The Knights.
The Golden Knights?
The Golden
Not the Golden
Knights?
Knights. Something Knights.
Something like
I think
that.
it's the Knights. I don't know.
They
I would
made,
love
they
to see a
made the
hockey
Stanley
game,
Cup
though.
Finals in their first season.
Wow.
Lost in the finals.
I would love to go to another hockey game. I've only been to... I went to see the Ducks a couple years ago.
I'm rooting for the Oakland A's baseball team to move to Las Vegas.
Really?
Yeah, because I'd drive over and watch a game. It's only 4.5
Aw.
hours.
Yeah, it's funny. It's such a short drive, but you're like in a completely different world.
'Cause I'm not going to drive 8 hours to Oakland to watch them play there.
No.
No.
I wouldn't either. But it's funny how like I don't know, I've received so many opinions from people, and
You read opinions from people?
well, if someone is sending you a message, you're gonna see it with your eyes.
Oh,
my
I
point
just
is
ignore it.
my point is like, you know, I've struggled a lot in the past with you know, just doing kind of like herd mentality, I guess. Or I've looked to the outside before to be like, tell me what to do, instead of just, you know, kind of figuring it out. So as I've been visiting and going up there a lot, you know, I've had people, you know, very close friends and certain family members and all kinds of people being like, you shouldn't do it, you should rethink this, I think you're making a mistake.
That's your mother, not me.
What are you doing? My mom is one of them. Love her to death. That's hard, you know, when you love someone and they're telling you you're making a mistake.
She's feeling the empty nest thing.
Yeah, maybe a little lonely. But you know what? I think...
I said you can always go visit Evan in Encinitas. He's still local.
What happened to my brother, my long lost brother? Evan, why don't you respond? Evan also doesn't respond to my text messages. And I know he's there. I can see him through his window. Just kidding.
Oh, you drive by?
I'm just kidding. No, I don't. But I know he'd be in there because he doesn't leave the house. Well, he's there. He's not anywhere else. My point is, though, it's, you know, I realize a lot about myself this past month, that it's so important to just like do what you want to do. And if someone is telling you not to do something, make sure that you just know yourself enough to know what it is that you want. And of course, I'm not like spiting people. I'm not like, I'm gonna do this.
I'm gonna come visit, but I'm gonna stay on the Strip.
See, it's so funny. Everyone told me, don't stay on the Strip. You're gonna hate it. You're gonna hate it. And what do? I booked this hotel in like Soccer Mom suburbia. And of course, I'm going to be bored out of my mind there. So I canceled it to get a refund. And then I stayed on the Strip and I loved it. Of course, I'm not like wanting to live there, but it's like you have to stay on the Strip when you go to Vegas. It's so fun.
People travel from all over the world to go to the Strip.
Yeah.
It's like Disneyland.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, what do you do? I'll ask you for advice. What do you do when people give you don't care about people's opinions?
No, I don't.
You don't even care about my opinion.
There's a difference between opinions and counsel.
Yes.
Counsel comes from people who've been there and done that and have things that they can tell you that help you to do better or to make decisions. Opinions are from people who are ignorant about the thing they're opining on.
Yeah. I think also...
Don't mean to offend anybody, but opinions come from ignorance.
Yeah, and I think, you know, also just as it's human nature to, you know, look at someone, and if they're doing what you want to do, you might, you know, not maybe be jealous, but you might like have an adverse reaction to that. So there's been times in my life where I've seen someone, you know, making this big life change or moving or doing this cool thing, and I'm like, oh, what do they think they're doing? That's such a mistake. And it's like, well, I probably want that.
We hate it when our friends become successful and rich. I'm just kidding.
He kills me. So for the record, I mean, obviously one day I'd love to be successful and rich. I think that's different for every person, but I think like for right this very moment in my life, I need to be pushed. I need, you know, to grow, and I need to, you know, have something to work for. And maybe that could mean, you know, Vegas. So we'll see how that goes.
A lot of people have found great success in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I think there's just success in general when you just make a change. I think if you're in a routine and you've been used to something for so long, it's hard to... I think it's actually easier to want to change when you're like in a really bad situation. Because if you're in a really bad situation, you're going to do whatever you can to get out of that situation. Or maybe not. Maybe you'll stay there. But I think when you're comfortable, you don't want to leave.
Isn't a bad relationship better than no relationship at all?
I don't know if there's
I know people who apparently believe that.
I don't know if there's a right way to answer that.
Okay.
I think being in a comfort zone can only get you so far, and that's what I realized about myself. As I thought, you know, I thought everything was fine, and my life is good, but you know, it's
good to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think
I'm uncomfortable constantly.
Yeah, I think just with...
I've lived my life that way.
Well, you're pretty good at, like, adapting and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, after the coffee shop sold, I became very comfortable. And, you know, I just wasn't motivated to really, you know, do something new. And I think right now I feel, you know, just, like, this burning desire to just, like, do... Like, I don't, like, just do something, like make a change, figure out who I am, have fun, just really switch things up.
The other movie to see about Vegas and the mob is Casino, Robert De Niro.
I've heard of that.
That's the most Las Vegas movie probably ever made.
I don't know what I would do if I met
Casino.
like someone in the mafia in Vegas. What would you do?
We had a former mafia member on the radio show, Michael Franzese.
Yeah, wow. I can't imagine.
Yeah. So anyway, if you want to get those people occupying your apartment out sooner, just no, I didn't say that.
So listen.
So
No, I'll just give them. What do mafia people like? Cannolis? Or is that just the Italian?
I was watching that the other night. Leave the gun, take the cannoli. That's The Godfather.
Oh, that's funny.
That's good.
Um,
So you want to know what I've been doing?
You do a lot.
Well, we booted the foundation in the Oceanside Turkey Trot back up in the last couple of days, so registration is now open for this Thanksgiving.
Ooh!
And we got
Yay.
sponsors coming in and all kinds of exciting things happening.
So you can run in person?
We're going to run in person.
Whoa. That's
Vaccination cards may be required,
exciting.
so it depends on what the state's doing at that point in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we booted it back up this week, and away we go, full speed ahead for the 16th running.
So tomorrow is the first day of September.
Correct.
It is officially fall season. Pumpkin spice latte season.
There you go.
That's crazy. Wow. I don't know. I feel like this year has been like...
But I'm trying to do a co-promotion with Top Gun because that movie's coming out like a week before the Turkey Trot.
Oh my god, I had no idea up until like
The
a
Top Gun
couple
house.
months ago. I saw it a couple months ago because
Mhm.
I was driving to get coffee, obviously. And I saw it and I was
Demi
like,
travels far and wide to get coffee.
So, I'm in Solana Beach. So, for those that don't know, I'm in Solana Beach. To go to Oceanside is about a 30-minute drive. So, that must
But
be
no.
some good coffee.
Coffee is not addictive.
I'm making changes. This is decaf.
Yeah,
We're
the Top Gun house is in Oceanside.
That's so cool.
So we said, we should get Tom Cruise down here.
Just
We can run
get
the Turkey
Tom
Trot.
Cruise.
Or Val
Yeah,
Kilmer.
just
I'm
call
okay
him
with,
up.
I'm okay, or John Hamm. I can go hit tennis balls with John Hamm.
That'd be cool.
But if we could do a co-promotion, that'd be so awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I've been in touch with Paramount Studios.
See how casual he is? I've just been in touch with Paramount. I'm like, I'm
Whatever.
having a quarter life crisis and I'm gonna cry because
I
this
just
is
think it'd be really
decaf.
cool. It'd be really cool just to, like, the runners could do a photo opportunity right in front of the Top Gun house, like with
Yeah.
either an actual live actor or cardboard cutouts.
Yeah.
If it's, people have plans probably on Thanksgiving, right? But so anyway, we're back up and full speed ahead.
That's so exciting.
It
Honestly, the Turkey Trot, and not because I'm biased, it is the most fun racing event ever. Because everyone is in a good mood. Everyone's just happy.
Mhm.
It's just such a fun event.
Big party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to talk about what you're doing next month with tennis? Or no?
Well, we're joining a prior guest on the show, Rosie Casals, at her big fundraiser for Love and Love Foundation, a great foundation down in the Coachella Valley in the desert, for a celebration of the 50th anniversary of the first ever women's professional tennis match, but even more important, the induction into the Hall of Fame last month, July, in the International Tennis Hall of Fame of the original nine, Rosie Casals, Billie Jean King, Nancy Ritchie, Julie Heldman, Valerie Ziegenfuss, and 4 others. The first group ever to be inducted into the Tennis Hall of Fame. Heretofore, it's only been individuals. But those are the 9 women who risked everything they had to start the women's professional tour 51 years ago. So exciting stuff. And so we're going to go to that dinner and fundraiser on, I think it's October 10th at Indian Wells.
Am I invited? I'm not invited, am I?
It depends.
Where's my RSVP?
It's limited to 100 people,
I'm just kidding.
so I don't know. Because of COVID, there's limitations on numbers of everything at that event.
Yeah. Well,
Normally it's in March. They're going to pick it up again next March, but they're doing the event from, is it like October 3rd to
very cool.
13th or whatever. First 2 weeks of October. So
Nice.
it's exciting stuff. Looking forward to it.
I hope that they do Universal Studio Horror Nights this year, or
Yeah.
Can
you take tours there now?
I don't know if you can. They haven't really released any information yet. I need to go online. Or if not that, Not Scary Farm. I hope so. We'll see. Because they didn't do it last year.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know why, like psychologically, if you think about it, people pay money to get scared and have anxiety. If you think about it, it's
Yeah,
very interesting.
That's like what marriage is, right? Oh, did I just say that?
I'm telling Mom. But it's worth it in the
Sorry,
end.
I
Is what he
haven't
wants
lost
to
my
say.
morbid sense of humor.
So here's a practical question, because how many times would you say you've moved in your life? Like at least 15? 20?
We've owned, I think, 28 different properties.
Oh my god.
But we haven't moved for everyone.
What is your best advice for moving? What point do you start? Do you start 2 weeks
Don't.
before, the day before?
Well, my best advice is don't accumulate a lot of stuff. So you can
Mm.
be quick on your feet, be nimble.
Honest to God, I told Mom a couple days ago, I said, I was just planning on packing everything the day before. And she looked at me with
Sort of
the
funny.
most like scared look I've ever
Yeah.
seen. And she's like, you're kidding, right? And I was like,
Well, you don't
"Did
know.
you just
I mean,
pack
you,
stuff the
you
day
live in
before?"
a large studio apartment. It's still a studio, but it's large.
There's there's stuff there that like you kind of miss because it's just been there for a long time. And I'm like, oh man, like what am I going to do with you? You know?
Well, I wouldn't start the day before. No, I'd start back at the week before.
Good advice.
Yeah, but you don't want to accumulate a lot of stuff.
No.
One of my best pieces of advice for anybody who's moving is know where your Goodwill drop-off locations are, and just take it over there, because there's people who need clothes, there's people who need kitchenware, there's people who need all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So
And
don't be lugging stuff around. If you got a box packed that you haven't unpacked since your last move, throw it out.
See, there was like a box in my car that literally had been there for like 2 years.
Seriously?
And it was when you had that townhouse for like a week.
Oh yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it was just like in the back of my trunk, and it had just been there. It was just like shoes and some old
Yeah.
photos and like a journal. And like for some reason my mom had come over and she's like, let me help you get rid of this. And I like freaked out. I was like, no, like what if I need all this stuff? And she's like, you haven't seen it in 2 years. You clearly don't care about it. And I had this weird like, but what if I do? So if you're like me, just let everything go. Just
Let it
let
go.
And if you have like nice stuff that you want to sell, OfferUp is a great way to sell stuff. So yeah, but anyways, yeah.
Yeah, so don't start the day before.
That was gonna be my plan.
No.
I did that in San Jose, and that did not end
No,
well.
it didn't go well.
No, did not.
I think your passport wound up being moved to places that we don't know where it is now.
Yeah.
But it would have expired by now anyway, so you need a new one anyway.
Well, the photo, I'm like 13 in the photo, so I
Yeah.
think I need a new one.
I think it expired when you were 23.
Yeah, but anyways, so yeah, my dad and I are maybe gonna do something virtually as far as the podcast goes, but
Yeah,
I think
I have Zoom on your mother's iPad.
you do have Zoom.
On your mother's iPad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to fill everybody in, and he has very exciting things planned, and I have some things planned, and I think, all is well. People were kind of worried for a little bit. I had some people that thought we like had a falling out or something else. Like, no, like we're fine. Everything's okay.
I wanted to move to Lucia Financial Group because their studio is so incredible, but
Oh, their studio is so
because
nice.
you were talking about maybe moving to Las Vegas, there was
Yeah.
no point in doing anything even semi-permanent.
Yeah. But life, go with the change, go with the flow.
Yeah.
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 But so for right now, I hope I have an apartment. I don't know for certain. We'll find out. It's all good. Just trying to embrace the unknown. But it's like I have options, I'm not like it's not like it's the only apartment in all of Las Vegas. But
It's easy to find places in Las Vegas.
yeah, but they're going quick. They're going quick because everyone from California is moving there.
Everybody's
I was like,
moving there.
I thought I was the first one.
No, afraid not.
Definitely not.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. It's growing.
Yeah. But
I don't think Las Vegas even has 1 million people yet
it does.
in terms of permanent. I think it's maybe 750,000.
I think the months that I'm going are like ideal, like September, October, November, December. Like as it gets closer to fall and winter, like that's
Yeah,
a
you're
good
in for
time.
an interesting experience in June, July, and August.
I'm not. Yeah. Well, I was there in July, and
Did it hit 110?
it hit 115.
Whoa, okay.
Well, it's
What
so.
do people in Vegas? They go, what? But it's dry heat.
I said that when I got there too. I was like, but it's dry
Oh,
heat.
it's dry heat.
No, you're like drenched. You're like soaking wet. They
Okay.
say don't leave your house from like 11 to 4
Yeah, it's like,
p.m.
is it normal that my feet just melted into my tennis shoes?
Yeah, no.
No, that's not
Mm-mm.
normal.
But if you want to get tan there, it's a great place to be. But we'll see.
I played tennis there once, and I made the mistake of playing at 9 in the morning. It was too late.
Oh, it's too hot by that. No, you gotta play at like 4 in the morning.
You got to play at sunrise at 6 in the morning.
Okay, last thing.
Okay, last thing.
There was a thunderstorm. The one night I was there, I was gonna leave.
We've been having
that
thunderstorms
day.
here.
Not like this. No, this
Oh,
was like
no,
a
it's-
legit
They
thunderstorm.
have what are called flash flood warnings there.
Yeah, so I had just gotten food to go. I went to this like drive-through little Mexican restaurant, and I was sitting in the parking lot eating the food, and my hotel is like 20 minutes away, so I'm like, I'm really hungry, so I'm just sitting in the parking lot, and it starts to rain, and I'm like, oh, it's raining, and it's so hot out, how fun, how cool. And then the rain turns into more rain, and then more rain, and then it starts to hail.
The windshield wipers don't
And
even move fast
then
enough.
it starts to get so windy, the trees are literally breaking.
Hmm.
And then I just get this alert on my phone, and it says, like, of course, it's like gonna freak you out. It's like, flash flood warning, this is a serious and dangerous situation. Do
Then
not drive
You
under
see
any
Noah with his ark
circumstance.
rolling by with 50
Exactly.
animals. Yeah.
All the
Scary.
llamas and
Yeah.
tigers and bears.
There was
And
2 of
it's-
each.
It's so funny because I'm looking around and like people are still driving. Like I'm across the street from like a Taco Bell. They're still going through the drive-through. I'm like, I'm 20 minutes from my hotel. Like, do I stay here? Will I get electrocuted? What do I do? I'm like really panicking. So I call my friends. My friend doesn't answer. She lives like 10 minutes away. I call her husband. His name's Jeff. And I'm like, Jeff, am I okay? Do I stay in the car? Do I drive? Like, what do I do? He's like, just drive. You'll be fine. Like, you're freaking out over nothing. Well, he's from the Midwest, so I guess like anytime as a kid they had thunderstorms, like they would literally all run outside and like be in the thunderstorm. And I'm like, God,
That's
Midwestern
what I
kids
did
are
on Sunday.
Weird.
We had thunder and lightning, so I went outside and ran in it.
See, I don't understand that. I'm staying.
Well, it
in the
doesn't
car.
come around that often.
Well, I
What are
drove.
the odds of being hit by lightning? They're very low.
That's true. Not high. But I mean, I drove back to the hotel, but like when I tell you I couldn't see, like I could not see. I drove on the freeway 35 miles an hour. Like, but I was okay. But I mean, it was gnarly.
It doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, I asked someone the next day. I was like, "Does this happen a lot?" And they're like, "No, this like really doesn't happen." I was like, "But you guys were all super normal about it. No one was freaking out." So I don't know. Nevada people, what can I say?
Nothing's normal.
Exactly.
Okay. Anyway, that's what we've been up to.
Amazing week, you guys, and we will keep you updated. You
Yeah,
know.
Jenny, start packing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe next week I'll tell you I'm actually moving to like Iceland or something. Just kidding.